Hey there, welcome to the Life at a Glance podcast. This is going to be part of our special series about turn what you know into a template. And today I thought I would share the moment I realized I needed to sell something small because the whole idea of waiting to launch something big is the slowest way that you're going to grow. I talk about this all the time where people will go into almost like a cave. They're a mad scientist, and there are templates and videos, and they're re-recording, and do I use AI, and how do I use this, and what is the tech stack, all of those things. It is the slowest way to grow. And I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to dive right into the session. So, if you've ever told yourself you'll launch something after things calm down, this episode is for you because let's face it, like, when are things ever going to slow down? When is it ever going to be a good time? For me, actually, it's that competition between working one-on-one with clients and almost building. I never say anything is passive, but kind of building the digital asset part of the business. And as much as you have a well laid plan, it ends up that the client work and getting things out the door in a timely manner based on how that client interacts with you, that takes precedent than something that you are working with kind of behind the scenes and doing something more, I'm going to say more passively, but and you can even say organically. Maybe you want it to do the heavy lifting for you, so you're not always on sales calls and you're not always working on one-on-one. So it's that one to many that we're really focusing on. And what I'm going to be sharing about today is the moment I stopped waiting to launch a big thing. To be honest, I had launched a big thing and I implemented it with the customers who purchased. So I had like 18 folks that raised their hand. This was a beta. It was a 12-week. It was a pressure cooker. It was a pressure cooker because I was working one-on-one with clients. Maggie, we were high in the soccer season, and Daniel, there was a deployment thrown in there somewhere, and I was literally a week ahead of the folks that I was teaching or coaching at the time. And Sunday, they would get an email to know what to expect. The modules and all of the resources would drop on a Monday. We would have a live session, and I would get feedback on a Thursday. And I was just in this, it was a burnout circle. Because at the end of it, I'm going to be honest with you, like, I didn't want to do any of it anymore because it was such a pressure cooker. Yes, I had built all the assets and things, but like the road to that, and that was the only way. The folks that raised their hand, they had paid me, so I had to show up and deliver. That was the accountability in order to get that thing years and years and years ago out the window, or out the door, I should say, not out the window, throw the baby out with bathwater, right? So, um, thinking about a big program, that is the pressure cooker system that I used in order to launch that, versus I had a program, and it's actually kind of funny how this whole template came to be. Is that I was working in my membership, and I had done a workshop. And the women in the workshop, based on the templates and things and the way that I shared this information with them, they were going crazy. I am not one to really recognize those neon signs as this is the direction you need to go. Because as entrepreneurs, we're always going to make things super difficult. And if it was just that simple, everybody would be doing it, right? Am I right? Yes, I am right. And so I was running my own ads to a webinar. So that dreaded webinar registration ad, and I had a product that I was selling on the other side of it, and it was not working. Shocking. It was not working. And I was so frustrated. When I say I'm a homeschooling soccer mom, I am extremely competitive. And so I'm like, if he can do it, if she can do it, I know I can do it. But I'm also very conservative when it comes to money. And it's like, I'm not going to put myself in a hole. So I literally threw spaghetti at the wall, probably, literally. What I did was I took that webinar copy, I took a screenshot of the template. I put $35 behind it inside of the ads dashboard and let it go. I was going to charge 27, or I charged $27 for that template. So I'm spending 35 a day. That's how I started. And it was a $27 template, and it started selling, and it started selling more and started selling more. And so I would join ad programs just to kind of help me with my ads and managing the ads dashboard while I'm simultaneously homeschooling the kids. I'm managing the house while Daniel is deployed, and I'm managing the inbox, which is really important, managing the inbox based on the questions that are coming in and working one-on-one with clients. And so that was the start of launching something small. Um, there were no order bumps. So we hear funnel, we hear order bumps, we hear one time offers, these big pressure cooker programs, coaching programs, memberships. I didn't have any of that stuff in place. I literally had a competitive spirit. I had a template that people went wild over and loved it. And I had some copy I thought was pretty good, and I had a screenshot of what that template looked like. And from that, literally have generated well over $1 million in sales, and literally over 9,000 plus customers have purchased that template. It's the gateway to anything that I am doing on the back end. And so it allowed me to see what other problems that my customer was having. So when you start thinking about trying to put all the pieces and parts and everything has to be perfect, right? Let your customer tell you what the next steps are in the funnel. That's the next problem that you solve from them, and the next problem that you solve with them. A template is amazingly versatile. And what I mean by that is it can be the gateway into the funnel. They can purchase lots of different things. And on the back end, like again, you can have a program if you want that. You could have a membership if you want that. You could have a coaching, so 1 to maybe small group coaching, a consulting, or it can upsell people into one-on-one service. A $27 template can sell an $18,000 one-on-one service. I know because I did it. And here's why. That template, the purpose and the goal of the template is you have your dream customer, and there is one specific problem that they are having. And that copy is so good because you are literally the future version of your dream customer. And so you can speak to the pain that they are in right now. And you offer that solution, which is the template. The idea behind a template and the difference why a template is so much easier to launch than a big, overwhelming program is because it literally is, it solves one thing. In my dashboard right now for the Business Command Center, if you don't have Trello, I show you how to get Trello. Step one, you push a brown button. You're logged into Trello, and then the template is going to load into your account. Step two, we're going to make a copy. Push a blue button. And then I give you a specific set of instructions to get you up and running. And the way that I do that is so that you're focused on finding the thing versus worrying about messing and breaking the tech on the other side, or even learning the tech on the other side. I need to reach out to Trello because I'm sure that they don't even have an affiliate program, but I'm sure that I brought a lot of people, thousands of people probably using that product. In fact, I think that's what I will do, but that is another story. What I really want to focus on is number one, there is never going to be a good time to do any of this when things settle down. I have said that, and I'm like, and the same phrase I will say, things are never going to settle down because life is always moving. Your life and your business are running kind of side by side, right? And so I love the flexibility of a template. Once you've done it once, you've got a repeatable process. I have had various things inside of the funnel, and I take cues from the customer, the most commonly asked questions that they ask me. And I'm like, I wonder if I create a template on that, if they would use that thing. Most recently, I have slid a new template into my funnel because folks continued to ask about it. And it was literally a system that we were already using. And so all I did, I created the template based on my process. I 1, 2, 3'd it inside of the dashboard. I put it in the funnel, and it wasn't if, it was when. And the percentage of uptake on that particular template is through the roof. And so I was like, okay, let me try it again. And so as of this recording, I am working on another template that we have used in the business that my customer, I'm doing now a live onboarding call with my customer. And that's not where you start. I'm doing a live onboarding call with my customer. I do it every Tuesday. It's one of the most commonly asked questions. So what's another template? My customer is telling me what it is they need. They've already purchased one of my templates. They're already using one of my templates. So they are used to my style. They're used to my template, and they know how to customize the system for them. My goal is that when they get the product, I'm going to tell you how I like one of the biggest things. So let me just really quickly, one of the biggest things in a program has so many steps, and I'm not bashing programs. If you want to do a program, if you want to do a coaching program, if you want to do a 12-week program, whatever, like I want you to do you. I want you to feel fulfilled and live the best version of you for your business. A template, on the other hand, is I use what I call the bucket system. All right. When we first started homeschooling, my kids were various ages, and I had readers and non-readers. What I found was that when we would start our day, there were a lot of interruptions if I was working one-on-one with a child, especially with the non-readers. They would come, they would interrupt. That would just destroy train of thought and what I was working on with one child. So what I decided to do, and what I found that really worked well, is bucket. It took a little bit more planning on my part, and I'd had everything laid out like day in and day out. And so the child would go and they'd look at the bucket. They'd look in the bucket. It didn't matter if they could read or not. And they would see all of the things in the bucket. And based on what they saw, they could tell the instructions of how to complete that task. If they did not understand something, they would slap a sticker on it, work with mom. Your template, turn what you know. So your expertise, remember your future version of your dream customer, turn what you know into a template. They need to, in 10 minutes, be able to solve that friction point that they are having with your template. When you do that, you have a customer for life. And based on that experience of the template, the whole bucket theory, you don't have to teach everything. You only have to solve one clear problem for your customer. That's all they really want. And it allows you to elevate yourself to expert status. You don't need the 10 modules. You just need a shortcut that someone can use today, right now. And you don't need a perfect launch. In fact, during the workshop, turn what you know into a template, I'm going to really share with you what I believe your first goal needs to be. All right. For me, templates check all of those boxes. And I am excited. I feel like I've been doing this for 6 years, over 9,000 customers, $1 million, whether it's continuing to add things to the funnel itself, like standalone, whether it is taking the template and upselling into a membership, done that too. Taking that template and upselling into one-on-one, I've done that too. I can't wait to share that information with you inside of the workshop. So here's the thing. Don't wait for the big launch. Start with, I call them quick wins, and I love a good quick win. Your next offer doesn't have to be everything. It just has to start. And again, I'll just use the quote. I'm going to put this on a t-shirt where my daughter said, you can't start where you want to finish. My offer has evolved over the past 6 years. In this moment today, as we are selling, is in the easiest format that it has ever been. From the questions that we get inside of the inbox, from the onboarding now that I've always wanted to do, that we've implemented all along the way, to the other offers that are made inside of the template, in how I'm able to show up on a weekly basis for my customer, how I show up in my community. I had to slow down to speed up. And I can tell you right now, I am loving everything about the business today. And literally, it all starts for me with that gateway of that template. And it's more than likely how you and I met. It truly is that little template that could. I remember way back, I was behind the scenes in a guru's coaching program, and we were at a live event, and he was going around the room and kind of asking for, like, what is a huge win? And I hadn't at the time calculated like total sales. And I did it, and I calculated it again, and I calculated it again, and I was almost scared. I was not embarrassed, but I was scared to say at that moment how much that little template had actually sold. But when it came to me, all right, Rhonda, what's your biggest win? And off the cuff, I was able to say, my template has generated $250,000. The room got silent. A pen dropped. He could not believe it. There is nothing special about me. I am a homeschooling soccer mom whose goal it was to carve out space for herself doing something that she truly loved. And I have stumbled along the way. But certainly, this is the little template that could. And I hope that you will join me for my newest workshop, which I'm so in love with. Turn what you know into a template. Take care. We'll talk soon.